Trigger warning all over this episode 'cause I feel I'm gonna cry. Anyway, have you ever taken a photo that felt so heavy it's left a mark on you? And not because the lighting or the lens or the crisp lines, but because the moment behind it is devastating. It's sometimes tender or so intimate it feels sacred. Today we're talking about those moments, the ones that no award panel will ever see or award you for, the ones that break you and build you. I'm talking about the emotional side of photography, the kind that matters more than perfection ever could. I have shot competitions. I've done creative fashion editorials, studio work, branding, all the things that get praise, likes, glossy magazine spreads, and even won the odd award for a perfect picture. But the sessions that stay with me, the ones that stay in the back of my mind and make me think about it, they're the ones that really, really do stay there. I volunteer for a charity called Remember My Baby, and you meet mothers on the worst day of their life. I'll photograph funerals. I'll photograph final cuddles with a dog before their owner says goodbye. Oh, this is hard because I've just lost my dog. They aren't styled, they're real, they're uncomfortable, and they're probably the most important work I've ever done. But let me be blunt. There is a lot of times this side of photography gets ignored because it's not sexy, it's not trendy. You can't just throw an AI preset on it and make it palatable for social media. But it is real. And if you're in this industry long enough and you're doing it right, these moments come to you. They really do. You don't have to do them though. I want to just preface, you're okay. Just safeguard yourself and think, do you know what? I haven't got it. But I want to talk about the personal stories that have broke and built me and the ones that have made me really rethink how I work as a photographer. And these, I've already said trigger warning. I'm going to trigger warn this a lot. The one that haunts me, that makes me probably is going to upset me just talking about it, is the child's funeral. There was a mother in protective custody, so I can't share too much details. But what I will say, I was not just a photographer at the day. I was a witness. I was standing for those who could not be there. I documented the pain of that mother because I was asked to. Because there was nowhere else for that pain to go. It was awful when they brought that tiny coffin in. That session changed me. I took 3 weeks off of work because it was an absolute honour. One of the few people entrusted to take that picture. And there's one shot I remember so clearly. She was walking back with her protective officer with her. And the sun was just peeking through the trees and I was shooting from behind because they asked me to document it all for her because the mother really wanted it because she said she was in a state of just everything and couldn't remember it all. I hope she looks at these pictures maybe one day and realizes how wonderful what she did for her child was. But they are going to break her. But this one picture breaks me. She's walking away with her officer. She's holding on to her child's teddy. And she's not dressed in black because she wanted to celebrate the short life her kid. Oh, it's awful, isn't it? I know. This is awful. Maybe I shouldn't be saying it. No, I'm allowed to say this bit, but maybe you don't want to hear this. And the sun is shining and it's beautiful. There's a little bit of motion blur on it because it was just a quick shot as I was leaving. And it's one of those pictures that really, really hit me hard. Because when I was editing it, I was like, that's it now. That's her life. She's alone with no one but that police officer next to her for the next however many years now. And I got this shot. And it was so reminiscent of the shot I got of her bringing her daughter into the crematorium. Awful, isn't it? I photograph women and mothers in grief. I photograph women who've carried babies they'll never get to raise, who brought memory boxes to sessions instead of their children, or even I went to the hospital bedside with the charity I volunteer for. There is no posing that makes this easier. You can't compose that grief. You click the shutter, you do it gently and respectfully, and you go home and cry. Because I have cried many a time in my car. I give this impression that I'm this bolshy cow with a loud mouth. But do you know what? To balance that out, I do these jobs because someone has to be photographing this because grief is awful. It is horrible. And as a photographer, I get to give people memories of people that aren't here long enough or are going soon. I can't really phrase that in a kind way, can I? I've had cancer warriors come through my door, people who are facing the end. People who have asked for portraits not because they want to be remembered glamorously, but as they were. Hair loss, tired eyes, wrinkles of pain and strength, real images. And I photographed the amazing survivors. I photographed a guy who fought cancer 4 times and won every time. When his name is mentioned, cancer quivers and shakes and doesn't come a knocking again. He is now 4 years clean still. I have photographed him every part of his journey. I photographed an amazing man who never told me what was going on with him, but he came in every month to get one photo taken. He paid for the whole year. And then one time he didn't show up and I chased him and I found out that he had passed away from cancer and he was documenting his life for his children so he could leave them in a book. And my picture that I took was on his coffin as he went to that final sleep. I remember a woman telling me she wants her kids to see her stronger, even when she doesn't feel it. And would I take a picture of her looking like that? And it was, do you know what? That one sentence taught me more about who I was as a photographer than anything else, I swear. These moments have defined me. I photographed owners with their pets in their last days. I know it sounds small to some, but the love between a person and a pet in those final hours is sacred. I've had the privilege of being there for one of my own. I recently just lost my Frankie and I wasn't here. I've been able to capture those final walks, those last tail wags, the last cuddles. It's raw, it matters. I didn't get to do it for my own dog, which breaks. I'm going to cry. It breaks me. The reason why I'm telling you this, and there's a hill that I will die on, I will talk to you about it all the time. Perfect images for competitions. Connected images are for people. I love that you can create a brown sepia tone, beautifully airbrushed picture for a competition. Well done. Good for you, honey. Beautiful. And I'm not poo-pooing it, but I will pick connected images for my clients more than I will pick those perfectly pixel perfect portraits. That's a lot of alliteration to chuck out when you're a bit emotional, I'll say. Most clients don't give a flying F if the shadow ratio is correct or the edit is competition standard. They care that you saw them, that you captured something real, that in their grief, in their chaos, or in their joy, you reflected the truth, their truth, whatever their truth they want to present is. This industry needs to stop obsessing over sterile, soulless perfection and start talking about emotional fluency. God, that's a bit good, wasn't it? Emotional fluency. Do you know how to read the room? Do you know how to hold silence? Do you understand consent in storytelling? Because it's not just your camera that does the work, it's you, your empathy, your ability to hold space. And that's what makes images so powerful. But if you've never cried after a session, that's fair, because not every session can be like that. But if you're avoiding the heavy work because it's hard, it doesn't look on the gram, that's okay too. You're not missing a point. This kind of photography isn't for you. But there is a bit of us out there who are doing this work. This medium has such potential to do so much. We are visual historians, grief documenters. We are the memory keepers. We are the witnesses. This is not to say you need to seek trauma or become a therapist, but you do have a duty, I think, as a photographer. As particularly if you're a portrait photographer, maybe not in fashion, but as a portrait photographer, approach photography with compassion, ethics, and intention. So the next time you're obsessing over lens sharpness, did my client connect with me? Or did they just stare blankly into my camera? Did I actually see them? Or was I just performing to get perfect for my portfolio? I don't know. This is a short episode, I realise, because I don't think I've done a lot of heavy episodes and I just think I'm in that age group at the minute. I've had work that's won nothing and meant everything. I have photographed a child being born with a mother who is dying of cancer. Tell me that doesn't mean something to somebody because it means a hell of a lot to me and I'm not involved in that situation. It means a lot. Work that has won, that has looked technically perfect, but says, oh, and I've put it out there and people have applauded it. I'll take connection any day. And not because I became a photographer, because I want to take pretty pictures, because I did it for the human beings in the photos, the ones whose stories I'm lucky and privileged to be able to tell, the ones that matter. Because you know what? We have all these photos of celebrities and all this stuff, but there are people out there who have got real grit stories, beautiful moments that we should be, with their permission, sharing and talking about and using our art to create this. Heartbreak is such an awful feeling. And it breaks in so many ways, your heart. And I'm just on the outside capturing it for you. And don't get me wrong, I photographed triumphs and they are beautiful and they are amazing. But in my happiness and in my outward life, I always feel that I need to make sure I restore the balance for me personally. And this is a very personal podcast. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I volunteer for Remember My Baby. That's why I say yes to those patients. I go to hospices and photograph family portraits. I go to places because I want my art to give a legacy to somebody. And yes, there's an element of selfishness in that. I get paid to take pretty pictures of pretty things. That's fine. But I also want to be remembered for my own wellness and for my own mental health. I want to do something that matters. Because just as easy as someone can take the perfect portrait, I will be one of the few people who will photograph that person. And I want my picture to matter to that person so much because it is a legacy it's leaving. And I probably said all those words wrong, but I love that even to this day, there is a father who drives past me occasionally, beeps his horn and goes, "You've met my daughter." And I love that because I did meet his daughter. Me, the nursing staff, met his daughter on her first and last day. And I remember her. And he remembers I know that I was there. And it brings him joy to see me. And he shouts, and it's been years and he still shouts it. So here's your reminder. Your best picture doesn't have to be sharp. It may not even be well lit, but if it holds something, it's enough. Okay? I hope this hasn't emotionally floored you. And maybe it's inspired something in you. I'm not saying you need to go off and do traumatic photography. What I will say is when you're next taking that portrait, don't just go through the motions of your client. Okay, smile. Do it this way. Do it that way. Let them breathe. Let them talk to you. Let them relax those shoulders down naturally. Because every person you meet has a story to tell. And I think sometimes we need to listen to allow it. Maybe this is the arty side of photography. Maybe you're just interested in point and shoot and get out of there because you've got your own stuff going on, and that's 100% okay. This podcast isn't aimed at you then. This is fine. But for me, I don't want to just leave another digital photo online. I want to be the person that someone remembers I met their daughter. I want to be the person that someone looks at the photos years to come and go, "That's my mum. She was a warrior. Oh yeah, and this girl took it. Look at it. Look how happy my mum is." You know? That's what I want to do. So if you found this episode helpful in any way or it traumatized you, first of all, I'm sorry if it has traumatized you, but if it's found you helpful, I hope you share it. I hope you find some connection. It's a very short episode. I'm going to go now. I need to go for a run because I think I've been quite emotional. I've been doing quite a few emotional podcasts. It's got me in my feels. But yeah. Anyway, if you're interested in doing some of the work, check out Remember My Baby. But also, photography is an art. And art comes in many ways, in many forms. It's beautiful. Use it for some good. Use it for some happiness. Go find happiness if that's what you want. People happy. People doing amazing things. I'm happy doing the sad times as well. It gives me balance to my life, gives me perspective, and makes me ever so grateful that I get to choose this as my job. Anyway, I'm going to disappear now. Take care of you.